What's up, everybody? Sorry, had to, excuse me, bundle up a little bit. I'm just, for some reason, freezing. But anyway, I want to finally get down to giving my review of Borderlands 4. And I definitely have my thoughts. But before I continue, please do me a huge favor and like this video and leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think. If you finish the game, what are your thoughts? A second here. Alright. So, yeah. Alright. How should I start this off? Alright. Let's get the good stuff out the way. Now, I really like Vex. I think she is an incredible character. She has some charm to her. It was just her banter is hilarious, and I like her design. I think she's a lot of people's favorite for a reason. If it wasn't going to be her, it was going to probably be like maybe the French guy. But I just like her goth aesthetic, so I just naturally went with her. The weapons I thought was like okay. There's a fair amount that I thought was very unique. The skill tree, they definitely updated it, but I don't know. It seems like a lot. I'm not sure. It seems like it's not necessarily like a bad thing if you want to expound on something like the skill tree, so it won't look samey. But at the same time, it's like I couldn't get to like the down to the final level, so I couldn't really enjoy the ultimate move, which I was kind of looking forward to. Some of the characters I thought was interesting. It's my personal opinion. Some of them. I want to say all of them. I think Rush, the old man, and Zane's girlfriend, I thought was pretty decent supporting characters. Beyond them, the other characters, it's like whatever. It's they're generally okay. What's other good stuff I had? Probably should have written them down because it's so minor though. Sorry, I got warm tea right now. I'm trying to get my body heat to rise a bit. Oh, Sandra. Sandra was a incredible character. At first, I didn't think she was gonna be like a nothing burger, but she was pretty cool. Of course, she tragically died at my hands against the main villain being the timekeeper. So that was sad, but not to the same degree as losing Roland. At least that's how I view it. Speaking of characters we lost, RJ, he was interesting, but I kind of wish we had more time with him before his turn. And the fact that they kind of shoved him in the tail end, the epilogue, that was weird. Because at first, as the credits was rolling, I'm thinking to myself, where's RJ? What happened to that? That was a weird decision of just kind of shoving him at the epilogue. He seems kind of like a mid-boss before the main boss. Because clearly they're setting up something for a future gang, but well, I mean, I liked him enough, and he at first seemed interesting, when he helped us break out of the prison. But after that, it just, once he quote unquote died, that was the interest kind of like died with him. Um, so far, that's pretty much like the good stuff I have to say about this. But the main thing I have issues with is this game is not polished. Clearly, is not polished. Now, I'm not going to keep harping on the developer the lead developer who talking about if you're uh, only real fans will buy this game, kind of whatever he said a little while before this game came out was so freaking stupid and insensitive. Because it was around that time we started to hear about the price hike, and then at the same time there was the whole tariffs thing that was happening. So people's emotions was pretty raw, around that point. Him saying all that extra stuff wasn't helping. But golly, it's yeah, it deserves maybe another month or two before it should be officially released, because they end up having to patch things up later. That's one of the most annoying thing about games nowadays, especially AAA games, where you're releasing crap to the general public that isn't finished, but you just kind of coasting on like the IP. It's like, oh, they're gonna buy it anyway, and it's like, no, this is the same kind of. Y'all did not learn anything from the Cyberpunk game. You gotta want to make sure that you get out. Don't expect it to be 100% perfect. Now, I love Expedition 33, but yeah, there were still some things here and there that I did not care for, but it was at least 98%, if not bare minimum 95%, really excellent. And that's what you should be, at least in the 90 percentile of quality. But like rushing this out, and it just feels like, okay, there was no care. I want to say it was no care, but not to the same degree as like Expedition 33 or the first Sony Spider-Man game for the PS4. There was not the same level of care put into it. There are clearly patches happening in between times. The weeks that I was playing this thing, I noticed like the menu, like certain things with the menu wasn't working. Like I'm trying to look at like some new outfits and they're not loading up. Things like that. Those are kind of things that you should not have issues with. Now, normal glitches are typically like, I don't know, maybe like your character is like keeps running into the wall and not like into the wall, and it's not like stopping or moving out the way or responding properly. That is probably like the typical glitch that people are pretty much kind of used to, or having to be like a staple of a glitch in games. But yeah, this has it is buggy mess. The side quests are, it's not as bad as something like most Assassin's Creed games, where they kind of flood pointless side quests at you. But I don't care for certain side quests that seems just busy work. I think the first Spider-Man game for the PS4 is like a good example of how to make side quests purposeful, that is perfectly interwoven into the main story, so it doesn't feel like, oh, like I said, busy work. I still remember like catching those pigeons for that homeless dude, and him passing away after you completed the task because he's like remembering his late wife. That still gets you in the heartstrings, man. We don't get things like this in this game. What we get here is some, I don't know, flat earther guy that doesn't believe that the planet is round. It's like, why put that in this? Maybe it's supposed to be like a funny gag. I mean, Borderlands has like a history of that. I'm not gonna pretend like it don't, but to this day, I think like Borderlands 2. Well, most people don't care for Borderlands 3 like that, but there are some aspects of Borderlands 3 that I really like, but Borderlands 2 still remains superior by leaps and bounds. And I imagine that things are so changed drastically. It's because we got probably activists running most of the show behind the scenes that we're not probably privy to, or you can easily look it up and know for sure. That little health booster thing, I see promise in that. At first I was like, okay, shouldn't we have that's the point of having like those health pack drops? But I guess it was more the convenience of, okay, because you looking back, there was times where you can't seem to find any kind of spare health little things, especially if you're dealing with a boss, so you need like some kind of quick fix. In the meantime, okay, it served the purpose, and so I eventually kind of warmed up to it. The timekeeper, man, I don't think that Borderlands has real. I think Handsome Jack set the bar way too high in terms of not only he's one of the best video game villains of all time, but in terms of the Borderlands game, they are having a very tough time trying to reach that same height. Because Handsome Jack has some level of charisma tied to his villainy and sadisticness that we're not get. I'm not expecting Handsome Jack in every little villain that we get, but there's still got to be some level of charm or things that we like about him. It's kind of like the difference between Loki and Killmonger. They both have some level of charm to them that is appealing, but clearly are different characters that we like for different reasons. But those social media twins in Borderlands 3 didn't appeal to most people. I thought they were okay. Not something that I remember like as fondly as Handsome Jack, but they are alright. But the Timekeeper is just like, man, he doesn't raise like the same like, oh my god, the Timekeeper had this memorable moment. It doesn't rise to the same degree. It's a shame too, because you think Borderlands would, put, I don't know, some level of energy into the villain beyond. Look, I like my villains to be like true villains and not doing that gimmicky forced redemption kind of thing, like, oh, I misunderstood bullcrap. But I gotta like watching them too, the Timekeeper is like, oh, he's there, he's a villain, but I doubt 5 years from now he'll be remembered as like, oh, one of the best characters in the Borderlands franchise. I highly doubt that. Oh my god, it is honestly, it's one of those games. This is one of those games where I was like really on the fence on getting, but because yes, I really like the Borderlands franchise. However, I do feel some level of, because I spent like a good chunk of money on this. A lot of people did, but I expected so much more, and they didn't give this game time to really cook. God, it's. I expected more. I really did. Uh, throughout the walkthrough, I raised issues as they came along, just in case I might end up forgetting as I do a full blown review, because this game did take a bit. Uh, but yeah, it's. I mean, God, I hesitate to say like I overall hate this. I had uh worse games I played before. Yeah, like in all honesty, I think I can rattle off some really terrible games. Like, well, they fix it eventually, but Cyberpunk being one of them. Then Assassin's Creed Valhalla is another one that I really did not care for. Uh, thought I had the final. No, I did not. I'm a goofy. But yeah, I don't know how, like, if bullet to the head, hand on the Bible, what do I rate this? A 5 out of 10. Very mid. That is what I'm sticking to. Uh, oh, and there were certain missions that like are dealing with certain enemies that I was like confused on, that wasn't given like any type of hint or assistance. I know games should be able to offer a challenge to the player, but like with the God of War Ragnarok, after you uh, keep losing like a particular fight, it automatically want to adjust to like an easier setting for you. That should be a kind of like a staple uh, for a lot of people, just in case. Kind of like an automatic save. There's an automatic, reduction of difficulty. Because one of, like, luckily that, because I was about to reach my breaking point of like exhaustion with this game, and I kind of wanted to just stop playing. But I was like, luckily I was already at the end, so I was like, okay, I can just push through it, because I was dangerously close of like, okay, what are we even doing anymore? I should just stop. But that's another thing you don't want to do, is being so mid or so bad to the point where people just want to stop playing partway through the game. And of course, I know developers, it doesn't matter with them because they still got their money, unless like Cyberpunk is so trash that you are forced to do like a mass refund, which is rare, so I don't expect it. But yeah, I was not underwhelmed. I'm not overwhelmed. I'm just whelmed. And it's not something I'm definitely ever gonna suggest to anybody to play. It is, God, man. Compared to like Expedition 33, I expected more from Borderlands, but after the fiasco of his movie, that movie didn't help. So you would think after the debacle of the movie, before this game came out, they would have like, okay, we gotta pause our game until we fine tune everything. Maybe they thought they did, but that's not the point. You have game testers on. Is it any wonder they didn't show up at the Game Awards? And this game wasn't nominated for anything? Hell, even like Ghost of Yote was still nominated for stuff. Hades was still nominated for stuff. Uh, the what was that? Split Fiction. At least that was nominated for a couple of things. You're like a well-known franchise, and you put this out. Ooh, wee. Yeah, those are just my thoughts on the game. I just want to like make sure I get this out because I have been slow dragging. I still need to continue on with the Digimon game. Once I wrap that up, I'll do a review of that. But speaking of games, before New Year's Eve, I'll make a video discussing all my best and worst movies and games and TV shows that I've seen this year. I didn't see or play too much, but I'll give my overall quick thoughts on each of those. But man, there's only one movie in particular I think is just leaps and bounds so good. Just like I got one game I know that's leaps and bounds so good for 2025. But stay tuned for that. I will see you guys later, as I got a reaction video. If I'm, I still gotta warm up. I'm so freaking cold. I want to do a reaction video really quick, and then tomorrow get back to making more content tomorrow after I get back from the Harry Potter store, because I want to pick up some items for myself, because I want to make sure because I went for my birthday earlier this year. I didn't want to end this year without going back, so I'm kind of make it like a tradition where I try to go twice a year max, at least until I'm satisfied with what I get there, unless they get stuff new, which they kind of did. They had like their own little Christmas ornaments that I don't own a Christmas tree, so like when I get my own place and eventually get my own tree, I will eventually get some then. But in any case, I will see you guys later. Once again, leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think of Borderlands 4 and how did it shape out for you. Did you actually buy it, or it looked so trash that you didn't even waste your money? Because that is the biggest hurdle for a lot of people, because the price tag. They're the first ones to kind of raise it to getting close. It was around $80. It wasn't like too exactly 100, but once the new Grand Theft Auto game comes out, I think that will be officially in the $100 price range. But I think that game will probably be more worth it. You got to make these games worth our dollars. If it's not, if it's not to the level of dedication and creation like the GTA 6 will be, you have no excuse to make it that pricey. I think that earned its price tag. Expedition 33 obviously could have went with the regular $60 price tag average, but no, it's like we had our budget and we are confident in this game. We don't need to gouge out our consumers' wallets, to the breaking point. $40 at most if you include the tax. Not crazy, and you still get a pretty good polished game. Oh God, a lot of these people need to learn some lessons from Sandfall. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Peace.